Hey, so I decided to make a video just going over my haul of comics that I've gotten in the month of March 2020. Um, so I'm just going to go through what I got, and if I have anything particular to say about any of them, I will, but some of them isn't necessarily going to be a lot. So I got the fourth deluxe edition of Berserk. I have one, two's over there. I'm in the middle of reading two. I don't have three yet, but I decided to pick up four while it was new or when it came out. But I still need to find a copy of three. But since I'm still reading two, it's not a big deal. Then this is Infinity 8. This book, this is the sixth volume. There's a little bit of a scuff on the back, which is unfortunate because I bought it new. But I don't know if that happened after I bought it or before. Either way, so Infinity 8, this series, it's published by Magnetic Press. And I found the first three volumes of this at a local used media store and never had heard of it, but it looked interesting. I like a lot of foreign art for comics. The story of this is each volume revolves around a different set of characters, but they're part of this. I think the organization is called Infinity 8. I can't remember. I've only read the first volume so far, but each one revolves around a different agent, and they're just kind of little fun stories. I don't think there's a lot to it, like a lot of meat, but they're fun. So I thought I would keep going with that. I got the Gail Simone Wonder Woman Omnibus. I've read very little Wonder Woman, but for some reason recently I decided that I liked Wonder Woman, having never really read anything. So I've picked up a couple of the um, George Perez ones, which you can kind of see over there, and just past there is the Brian Azzarello and Cliff Chang one. So I added Gail Simone's to that. This is the one. This one I got just the other day. So it's the last book I got in March, and a lot of people I know have read this, but this is the Jeff Loeb and Tim Sale Batman Omnibus, which is a thick book. But so I'm not really that into Batman, to be honest. Excuse me. Um, I grew up watching some of the animated series, and I watched the movies, and I enjoy it, but I've never been huge into Batman, which is interesting because he's one of the most popular characters. But I probably got into comics 2005 ish, give or take. And one of the first, I got him in Marvel, but one of the first DC books I did read was The Long Halloween and really liked it. And I've always wanted to pick up the other Loeb and Cell Batman books. And so I finally got around to getting that omnibus because I just have the old paperback of Long Halloween. So I'm excited to reread that and read the rest of their books. So those were all. I bought all those from In Stock Trades. There's a couple others I got from there, which I'll get to in a minute, but they're covered in stuff. Um, Local, the hardcover of Local by Brian Wood and Ryan Kelly. Um, I decided to pick this up. I had a friend who bought this way back when it first came out, and I really wanted to read it way back then, but I'm just finally getting around to it. I bought this used off eBay. There are a couple of little scuffs and stuff, but nothing major. I don't even know if that showed up on the camera. And I like books that do like that cloth spine on a hardback book. But I've always liked Ryan Kelly's art, so I'm excited to finally read that. And then I picked up from a user on Facebook I don't think I'll pick them all up, but the 3 Lazarus hardcovers. Had never read them, but everybody raves about them, and they were selling it for a good price, so I decided to jump on it. I've read the first one so far, and I like it. I don't love it, but I'm not really huge into kind of political theme stories, but I'll keep reading it. Kind of need to because I bought it. So some more books I got from eBay. So I the Ghostbuster hardcovers. I had found Mass Hysteria, I think that's what it's called, at a comic shop not too long ago. Wasn't really interested in reading Ghostbusters. It was one of those ones where I looked up the price online and saw how expensive it was because it was like over $300, and I was like, well, I should go ahead and grab this for $50. So I did. And then I've just been tracking down the other 2 because I was like, well, I gotta get the other ones. This one is another one that was going for a lot of money, but I found this along with a copy of the deluxe edition of Batman the Killing Joke, which I've never read, partially because like I said, I've never been too big into Batman, but I'm happy to have it now. That, and then the first G.I. Joe hardcover, also not a book I was necessarily looking for, and the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Ghostbusters crossover hardcover. So, but that whole thing I got for I think about $50, maybe it was $60. So basically, the amount that I would have paid for just this book alone if I found it at cover price, I got 4 books. And I do plan to keep The Killing Joke, but G.I. Joe and the Ninja Turtles Ghostbusters, I'll probably try to sell. I'm just not interested in G.I. Joe. And then this, I am in the process of getting all the IDW hardcovers for the the TMNT books. So this is collected in there, so I just don't need it. So I'll probably be trying to sell those. But yeah, so those I got off of eBay on a really good deal. I was really happy to get that. And speaking of the Ghostbusters books, so I think this is the last one that's actually still in print, which is the Interdimensional Crossrip. So I decided to grab that before it went out of print. So another kind of whim I went on recently, without really planning on it, was Daredevil Omnibus. So they reprinted the Bendis ones. I kind of go back and forth on Bendis. I think sometimes I like him, sometimes I don't. Ultimate Spider-Man is what got me into comics, so I obviously love that. But I had tried reading his Bendis comics, like, I don't know, 10 years ago probably, or more, and I just didn't get into it. So I wasn't really planning on buying it, and then I decided to give it another shot on the Marvel Unlimited app, and I enjoyed it. I don't know if I love it, but I enjoyed it enough that I was like, I'll jump on this, I'll grab these. But at the same time, I found a cheap copy of one of the Mark Waid omnibus for Daredevil, and so I picked that up. I did the same thing. I read an issue and I enjoyed it. I really liked the lighter kind of style. So I picked that up, and then I ended up getting the first one of those, and then I was like, well, if I'm going to do both of these, I should probably get the Brubaker omnibus too. The problem is that both of these, the first and the second, were both, I buy majorly new books off of InStockTrades.com, and then I just find other stuff randomly in the wild usually. But so both of them were available, so I picked up this. I actually picked up this off of one of the Sorry, I was thinking it was in stock trades, but it was. I found it cheap and got it on one of the buy three or buy two get one free on Target's website. So I got that off of there, and which is what I was like, I'll finish the Daredevil and found it cheap. They had the first one on in stock trade for a while, and now it's gone. I'm pretty sure it is out of print, and so I didn't jump on it quick enough. So that will just be something I'm watching for. Hopefully, I find a good copy, but depending on how quickly I get through the Bendis ones and onto the Brubaker ones, I may just kind of settle and go with the complete collections. The first, I think this, I'm not positive, but I think this omnibus is basically the third complete collection, and the first omnibus is the second, or the first and second. And then I got the third and fourth. Which one's the third? I think this is the third. Yeah, the third and the fourth Department H hardcovers. I had bought the first one forever ago at a comic book shop. I had traded in some old books I didn't want, and I got the first one. And I had it forever, and I finally got around to reading it. It's a little warped, but finally got around to reading it, and I liked it. So I figured I'd keep going. I bought the second volume, I think, in February, and then went ahead and grabbed these last two. And then I got Berserker Unbound, just because I love Jeff Lemire. Like, I would argue without a doubt he's my favorite creator. I've never read anything by him I don't like. The worst of his work that I've read, at least so far, is good, not great. And when it's great, it knocks it out of the park. So I basically, so far, I've yet to read anything bad. And then I got a couple big slipcover books. So this is Umbrella Academy Apocalypse Suite. It comes with a big hardcover, which I'm not positive. I've heard that it's the same as the library edition, but I'm pretty sure the library different editions are more of the cloth. Well, it's not you can't see it, but the cloth kind of material, kind of like the Hellboy libraries. But this isn't. This is just that kind of faux leather, vinyl-y cover. But, and then it comes with this print, which I like. So, and like I said, I got into comics sometime around 2005. It may have been 2004, it may have been in 2006, but it was around that time. And I'm pretty sure Umbrella Academy was one of the first creator-owned books I read, so non-Marvel or non-DC. And I just loved it. I love the absurdity of it, the way it's written. I love the art of it. So, but I haven't read the last volume that came out, Hotel Oblivion, because I own the first two paperbacks, and I just don't really like paperbacks for a number of reasons, the way they look on a shelf, but the just flimsiness of them, and I don't know why, but the library editions just didn't appeal to me. Something about the fact I felt like with how short each volume is of Umbrella Academy, it should have been able to have been collected in one book. But even though it's the same thing, somehow it being collected in this format with this extra print in a slipcase, I was like, yeah, I'll get it. I'll pay twice as much to get the exact same content. It's ridiculous, but there is a little bit of a dent that came on the slipcase, which I don't really care about, to be honest. Like, I like my books in pristine condition, but sometimes they just get dinged, and it's life. Um, the last thing I got in March, which I'm gonna try and get out because it's a weird position, but is Girls by the Luna Brothers. This is the deluxe edition. So obviously, this guy, if you follow these guys, you know this is I'm pretty sure long out of print, and it's hard to find. But I have always wanted to. I had always wanted to read The Sword. Girls, I was, I didn't really care too much about, but I always wanted to read The Sword, and I finally got around to it. I saw it was on Comixology, and I reestablished my subscription. I've had one in the past, but I just didn't use it enough, so I canceled it. But I reestablished it so I could read that. I was traveling for work, and I was like, I'll read this while I'm in the hotel. And I read through all of The Sword in, I think, 2 sittings, basically, 2 days. And I love The Sword. The Sword, I just couldn't stop reading it. I loved it. So then I jumped in and read Girls, which was also on Comixology. And I like Girls too. It's not as good. The writing's definitely not as good as Sword. Sword was just great in my opinion. But so after that I decided to start looking for, both of these deluxe editions, and this one I found. So at the time I was looking, the ones I could find, Girls was running more expensive than The Sword. So I found this one, and I think I paid about $90 all in all. And it's $100 cover price, so it was a lot cheaper than all the other ones. And it's in a pretty good condition. There is a little bit I don't know if you can see this, but the slipcase is kind of coming undone a little bit right there, but it's still holding together. However, I found once I got it that if you can see that on the spine, this book doesn't have the ribbon on the spine that a lot of sewn binding books have, which is fine because the ribbon's not what actually holds the pages together. One, they're sewn, and then they're glued to kind of together on like a little sheet of paper. But I've found from my experience with these big thick books that the ribbon just helps I feel like it helps keep the weight balance as you open it. So instead of getting these sharp edges as you turn the pages, you get more of that rounded eye. So that just concerns me a little bit. I've been looking for a copy of The Sword because, like I said, I loved The Sword, but I haven't found one that I feel comfortable buying yet. I've seen one, but the spine was pretty hinged, and I was just scared without that ribbon because it's the same situation. It doesn't have that ribbon. But that without that ribbon, it would, it'd break at some point pretty soon. And then I've been watching just things like eBay, and I've seen for a while there was a couple of people or a couple businesses selling them for about between 60 and 70, which is a really good deal because once again, it's an out of print book. It's $100 cover price. But the issue was I'm really hesitant to buy from places like eBay or Amazon used when there's not actual pictures of the book, because I've just noticed that a lot of times what I consider good condition is a lot better condition than what a lot of times sellers seem to. So these books, one of them I think was noted as like a good reader copy, which that's not what I want. I'm not looking for a reader copy. And then the other one, it was listed as good, but once again, there's just no pictures, and I was just hesitant, and I think one of them sold now, and the other one's gone up in price. So it'll just be something I'm watching. I read the book recently, so I'm not dying to get it, but I would like a copy of it. But maybe I'll settle for the paperbacks. But I have no idea if these books will ever go into print. I'm pretty sure these things were printed years and years ago, but who knows? Yeah, so that's what I got in March. So this is my first video. Hopefully I'll do some more. It was kind of fun. It was more simple than I thought, but I enjoyed doing it. So thanks. I hope you enjoyed it.